Well, the interesting history, I think, behind Columbia Transit, or as it started out as Columbia Municipal Bus Lines, was that it was a privately held entity. And so there were 3 or 4 buses, and the gentleman that ran the bus system was with the last name of Watson. And in about the mid-1960s, around 1964, 65, Mr. Watson wanted to sell the business and he wanted to retire. He approached the city initially and said, you know, it's been a pretty successful venture. Would this be something that you want to take over? And there was a lot of resistance to that at first. So it kind of came down to a mail and phone campaign. And the council and the manager heard from the residents that said, we use this and depend upon this system. And so in September of 1965, several buses were purchased and leased. And on September 9th of 1965, Columbia Transit, if you will, was born. And it has gone from that point forward and stayed, unfortunately, kind of stagnant.
Historically, the City of Columbia, both elected officials as well as our staff, with our Columbia Transit or also Public Works Department, have recognized a need for a more interconnected public transportation system. It both lessens our demand on our public infrastructure, so our streets and sidewalks, and also makes it easier for people to get to our larger employment centers, as well as grocery stores, the doctor's office, friends, family. Just makes it easier and everybody is more successful in the end.
The city has really kind of outgrown the bus system as it is designed today. Over the years, we've listened to the complaints that we've heard about our wait times being too long, or buses driving around empty, or in certain routes too full, and we felt it was time to take a look at the entire system and see what we could do to improve on all of those different areas where we've seen complaints over the years.
Well, it all began with City Manager Mike Mathis. He challenged the staff to come up with something innovative. And so at that point, I sat down with all the transit staff and we started drawing with magic markers on a system. One of the ideas, we have to take the Wabash out of the system. We don't just want one transfer point. We kind of drew a cross, which is down Providence and down Broadway, and then we took circles and connected the ends of the cross. And so that's kind of how the idea started.
Columbia Transit took the sketches and all the plans for the new routes and refined them. Council gave us the approval to move forward with holding public meetings to get feedback from the public in the different wards and the different stakeholders in the community.
CoMo Connect is really kind of a strategic plan. The design is to get the public involved, to get all of the various community stakeholders involved in the process, and help us to really design a system for the future of Columbia. The plan is a complete revision of all of the routes, starting by removing the Wabash station as the primary hub. And so what we've designed are 2 major connector routes that have an east-west route and a north-south route. These routes would have about an hour-long route, but with 4 buses in peak service. So a bus would pass you about every 15 minutes on those routes. Connecting into those routes would be 7 neighborhood routes that would circulate into certain neighborhoods and then come back out and connect into those connector routes. We anticipate that the neighborhood routes would see a bus passing you about every 30 minutes in peak service.
The best way to tell the story about the bus system we're trying to build is to tell that story through a series of maps that show the system, what the system is, and show how it relates to all these other parts of life in Columbia.
So things that we took into consideration when putting forth the draft design, we looked back at the health impact assessments and how we designed the routes to cover healthcare facilities. We looked at shopping and employment and all of those different major destinations that people would want to get to and from. We also took into consideration income layers and demographics, high school boundaries, and really interfaced with the GIS department to kind of layer in maps and look at how we were impacting different segments of the population with this design. We've kind of designed these routes such that a person could essentially stay on the same route and do most of the business that they might have to do in a given day. So for example, the number 8 green route that travels down Scott Boulevard, which is a new service area for us. You've got shopping, grocery stores, banking, medical facilities, pharmacies, schools, all of these type of things that a person might have to do in a given day are all on the same route. So you might not ever have to transfer to another route in order to do your normal everyday business. Now, if you do need to get to other parts of the city, the 2 connector routes are how you get there. In the old system, you might have had to take the bus all the way around the loop to get to and from a certain destination. In this new system, buses are going to be traveling in both directions. So once you get to your destination, you're not going to have to ride all the way around. You can take a bus going the opposite direction back to where you were going.
Well, parking fees are likely to go up this year. As a matter of fact, we're sure that they're going to by a rate of $10. This year we wanted to add a little something different, and so what we're looking at is a $10 increase, and that $10 will then go directly into the transit budget to help with expenses through transit. But what people will get in exchange for that $10 increase is an unlimited bus pass. So they will be able to ride Columbia Transit whenever and wherever they want to.
One of the major goals of this project is to live within our means. We want to design an efficient system that is not only budget neutral, but is also designed for growth. So if we should find a better funding mechanism for transit in the future, we've designed a system that is prepared for future growth and expansion.
Well, the public is really the backbone of this system, and we need their input. We're almost going to beg for their input, and that is going to occur in various forms. We'll look at public meetings in areas throughout the neighborhood, throughout the core route areas. We'll do some mailings. We'll do some electronic surveys. Regardless of how we reach out to our customers, we hope that they will take that opportunity to tell us what they think and to be open and honest about it so that we can help mold the system into something that not only can the community be proud of, but a system that is functional, that works, and that is fiscally responsible.
Our goal is to have this implemented partially by August of 2014. That's just pretty fast for a federally funded transit agency. 1 year is not that long. It takes a lot of public input, and so that's a pretty fast goal as far as the federal process takes.
We really like the public transportations involving the community at thinking of alternative ways to get around town. So rather than just this is a bus because you need to ride the bus, I like their approach to making it a place where people want to take the bus. Because I know that if more people get on the bus, that's less cars on the street. And every time I take a car off the street, that's reducing the greenhouse gas emissions in my community and also helping our infrastructure last longer.
What Columbia Transit needs now is input from the public. We encourage people to join the discussion as we plan by attending public meetings. There's a survey available online. People can check out all the information for the project online or talk to transit staff so we can get input from the public and all the stakeholders and build a system that is useful to everyone.